Willkommen zurück zu Tales of Arise. Ich bin euer FioreBo und wir sind mit Elfen unterwegs, haben unser Flammenschwert verloren, Schieren verloren und unsere Maske. Dafür haben wir Söldnerung bekommen. Die uns aber auch nicht viel weitergebracht haben.
Fiore. Shion. Hi. Damn it.
Oh nein, Gegner. Ja, jetzt können wir echt nichts mehr aufladen. Okay. Okay. Ja, das ist schon was anders, hart. Wenn man seine Fähigkeiten plötzlich verloren hat. Aber bestimmt, ich kriege keine Heilung mehr jetzt gerade. Stirb endlich, du. Also einfach nur ein normaler Angriff. Ein bisschen traurig. Zack, zack.
Rising Wyvern! Rising Falcon! Dragon Swarm! I'm not done! Here I come! It's over!
Boom. Haben wir noch geschafft. Weil Kämpfen ist so echt anstrengend.
What happened just now? Normally you'd be able to take that thing with your eyes closed.
Thank goodness you're alive. Are you all right? Yeah.
I'm just glad we found you in one piece. You were the only one still missing. There's a village back the way we came from, Thistlein. Kisara and La are already there.
Finwell, where are we?
Ganeth Harros, Volron's realm. Remember?
Ushered by the waves straight to the enemy stronghold. A rare stroke of luck, it would seem. Luck?
If Volron's here, that means Shion's close too, right?
Shion? Oh. Right. Of course.
Are you sure you're feeling okay? You seem a little off.
He's probably just exhausted. Let's save the catching up for when we're back at the village.
Ja. Finwell, yay. Finwell, Rächer in Rente? Was? Wieso? Ja, wir haben 2000 Punkte. Helfen. Was machen? Soll ich den hier fertig machen? Was haben wir denn hier noch so? Schauen wir mal. Flammenhieb, ja, den haben wir ja nicht mehr eigentlich, ne? Will ich mal behaupten. Naja, machen wir trotzdem mal so. Zack. Der fleischende Blitz. Den hätte ich vielleicht skillen sollen. Wir waren hier dran. Zack. Und hier waren wir da dran. Den teuersten hier. Zack. So.
I think Huro senses an owl around here.
Ein Eile. Vielleicht hier irgendwo? Nee. So, hier gibt es mal ein paar Zitronen. Ist hier im Rudel vielleicht? Also, ich schon irgendwo übersehen habe. Lauf doch mal! Was ist denn los mit dir? Kann ich mal laufen? Nur eine Geschwindigkeit. Hm. Nicht dämlich. Aber können wir schnell reisen? Ne, dürfen wir noch nicht. Wahrscheinlich, weil unsere Gruppe noch nicht komplett ist, müssen wir wahrscheinlich erstmal Chion retten müssen wahrscheinlich. Kann ich mir gut vorstellen. Und dann haben wir Elektroviecher haben wir jetzt hier. Nein. Achso, ach ja, weil ich jetzt schwimmen bin. Da ist auch noch was. Noch ein Astralkristall. So. Laufen wir als Windwell rum. Oh, wie viel kleiner wir sind. Ist ja krass. Jetzt soll sich das Beat-Outfit ne? Eignen. Aber keine Maske mehr tragen. Schade. Ich würde gerne das Outfit nochmal ändern. Mitternachtskampftracht. Ja, mal was Leichtes bei ihm. Jetzt kann er auch Sonnenbrillen tragen. Das passt irgendwie zu gut gerade. Ja, genau. Das Schwänzchen sieht auf jeden Fall gut aus. Ja. Ach du Mann. Wann kann die Pflichtfiguren tragen? Frage ich mich. Die Brille sieht eigentlich auch nicht schlecht aus. Sieht ihm auch zu gut eigentlich. Machen wir so. Machen wir so. Warte oder was? So, du. Was ist das nochmal? So. Was ist das dann? Ja, kriegst du den hier an. Die Brille lassen wir. Brille auf Brille, wer kennt's nicht? Wollen wir hier so ein kleines Schwänzchen machen? Ja, Schmetterlingsflügel. Na komm. Haben wir nichts Besseres zu tun, also. Das. Nehmen wir den. Als kleines Deko-Element oder was? Ey. Der Linksflügel passt auf jeden Fall zu ihm. Die Engelchen, Flügelchen. Ah, eine Rose ins Haar. Okay. Nuke würde auch zu ihm passen. Alle mit Rahmen. Die hat auch, glaube ich, schon. Links auf natürlich doppelt anziehen. Ja, dann bleibst du so. Ist die ja schon, ne? Ja. Gut, dann bleiben wir so. Ausrüstung, hat sich da was getan? Nö. Okay. Dann ein Flügelchen. Da können wir noch nicht laufen. Hab ich geguckt, war hier irgendwas? Ne? Ja, da war nur der Baum. Wir kämpfen trotzdem mal gegen euch, auch wenn ihr nicht aggressiv seid. So.
So. You picked the wrong fight. Elusive deity. Swallow blade. Lightning orb. Now. In an instant.
Und. Ah, das kriegen wir noch hin. Okay. So.
Can you take it? Take it. In an instant. Impact.
So, das einzige, was wir noch
I
haben.
can feel my power growing.
Klebrige Tentakeln. I. Hier schlägt die Eule an, okay. Das ist doch was. Oh.
Speaking of Thistleum, it's populated by Danans, but they're not under the rule of any lord. Pretty refreshing, huh? The whole town was built by Danan defectors, escapees from elsewhere. This area's teeming with stray Zeugles, though, so heaven only knows how they managed to set up a community here. The ordeal seems to have left them understandably on edge. Kisara and La are back there right now, trying to convince them of our good intentions. Say, Alphen, it looks like you got your face back then.
Yeah. And your sense of pain, too, it would seem. Any connection?
Really? Oh, but that means...
Probably.
I wonder if Alphen's going to be okay.
For now, I believe we should hold off on speculation and simply keep an eye on him.
Right.
Wie heißt der YouTube-Titel? Ich hab dich gehört. Ganz schön knapp, ey. Ja, Umklappe rechts bekommen. Und sind lila geworden, okay.
You're saying we should check the Owl Forest?
Will ich ja gerne, aber ich darf nicht. Ich darf nicht reisen, also... Erstmal nicht. Shit happens. So.
Do you sense one of...
Alphen! Boy, am I glad to see you safe.
Well, did you manage to convince them we're not in league with any lord?
Yeah, eventually.
When the ship sank, I thought we were done for. Guess the world just couldn't keep us apart.
Yeah, and now we can finally go rescue Xion.
There's something I need to tell you guys first. I got my memory back.
So, what did you remember? Are you able to tell us now?
Give the man some space, Law.
I remember being up on Lenegus.
Go on.
I was abducted from Dana. I was told if I ever wanted to return home, I'd have to cooperate. So that's what I did. Next thing I knew, they had made me into the Sovereign.
You mean to say you won the crown contest? As a Danan?
No. They kept me locked in a strange facility. They experimented on me, like I was nothing more than an animal. There were others, but only I survived. Of course, I wasn't really a king. The reality was that they treated me worse even than the lowest slave. The only reason I survived was because my body was able to withstand the Sovereign's power that they placed inside me.
The crest that appeared behind you on Almadria's ship must have undoubtedly been that of the Sovereign. It all makes sense now. Your affinity with the Blazing Sword, and the strange powers you possess, they were all because you were the Sovereign.
Okay, but why would the Renans go out of their way to give you all that power? Just what exactly does being the Sovereign entail?
They said it was for something called the Spirit Channeling Ceremony. They taught me how to harness my power for when the big day came. As for what the ceremony was actually for, unfortunately, I never found out.
So if what you're saying about being on Lenegis is true, then maybe you really did meet Xion. After all, you said you recognized her from somewhere, right?
But Xion said she'd never seen him before. How do you explain that?
I was wrong. It wasn't Xion I knew from Lenegis. It was Naori. She was a Renan maiden they paired me with during the spirit channeling ceremony. She's the woman I kept seeing in my dreams.
A maiden? What?
Wait, so this Naori figure just happens to be the double of Xion? Bit coincidental, isn't it?
Naori's family name was Imeris.
Imeris? As in Xion Imeris?
So they're distant relatives or something? Wait, or are they sisters?
Your guess is as good as mine. All I know is it was Naori. She's the one who put the mask on me.
The mask? But why?
To keep my soul from devouring itself over the guilt. After what I did on Lenegis. Over the lives I took.
Lives? You mean you staged a rebellion?
Perhaps it was a part of this spirit channeling ceremony?
I don't know. Whatever it was that the spirit channeling ceremony was supposed to achieve, it didn't turn out as planned. I lost consciousness halfway through. By the time I came to, Lenegis was a sea of flames. I opened my eyes to see Naori there, weeping. I shudder to think of how many deaths I caused that day. Certainly more than any of these lords can claim, I'm sure.
You really expect us to believe this? First the Sovereign, then Lenegis? You couldn't possibly have done all that.
I wonder. In ancient scripture, there is tell of a terrible calamity that befell Lenegis, nearly destroying it. The restoration took years, and required the work of countless laborers.
By ancient, you mean...
It predates the crown contest, to a time before even the first Renan invasion of Dana. More than 300 years ago.
300? But that'd make Alphen...
That's right. I'm pretty much an antique of a human being. Deep down, maybe I already knew.
Alphen...
Some hero, huh? Cooperating with the same villains who snatched me from my home, committing mass slaughter, only for it to slip my mind. Then when I finally remember, turns out I'm so old I've got scripture written about me. So much for standing up to injustice. I've probably got more blood on my hands than all the lords combined!
Alphen, stop! Honestly, I'm not going to pretend to understand what all this means. But what I do know is that right now, you're just reacting to the shock.
Sarah.
Listen, what you really need is time. Time to process things and get your head straight. Truth be told, I think that probably goes for all of us.
What about Shion? We can't just...
I'm worried about Shion too, Law. But it's clear that Alphen's in no fit state to fight. This is Volron, remember? Even at full capacity, it's practically a suicide mission. We stay put in the village till we're ready. Okay, everyone? Take some time to think things through, okay? But remember, we're all here for you if you need us. No matter how dark things might seem, you're not alone, Alphen.
Thank you.
It's fine. All right, everyone. Let's break for now.
Jetzt haben wir uns schon wieder
Do I even
aufgelöst.
have the right to fight? Do I have the right to go to Shion's rescue? What do the others think?
Warum denken Leute mal so? Oh. Warum? Was spricht dagegen, etwas Gutes zu tun, weißt du? Was spricht dagegen? Verstehe ich nicht so ganz. Eieiei, okay. Heißt es dann wiederum jetzt irgendwie, dass Shion Tochter von ihr ist oder so? Ich glaube nicht, dass Shion Sold ist, oder? So. Haben wir hier. Müssen wir so reingehen. Oh, nochmal. Hallo, wer bist du? Hallo, hallo, hallo. Sieht irgendwie wichtig aus, ne? Kann man nicht laufen. Also ob das Flammenschwert dafür verantwortlich ist, dass du laufen kannst oder nicht. Ernsthaft. Hühner. Kikeriko. So, irgendwas Tolles hier. Irgendwo ist auch noch eine Eule. Ja, ich darf schwimmen gehen. Schwimmen, schwimmen, schwimmen. Meerbrasse. Da ich hier nicht lang. Weil es offensichtlich ist, dass ich nicht hier lang kann. Hier ist auch nichts versteckt. Ja. Schade, schade, schade. Gut, dann quatschen wir mit dir mal.
All this time, I thought it was the worrying about Shion and the pain bringing you down. I didn't realize you were lonely too.
I guess all of us are. In one way or another.
Yeah, but you've only just found out. I mean, no, not found out. Remembered.
To tell you the truth, I was actually beginning to forget I'd even lost my memory in the first place. Now that it's returned, well, you can see what I'm like. It's strange. When I think about Lenegis, it still feels like it was only a year or two ago that I was there. But then I realized what feels like years was actually centuries ago.
What about your hometown? Do you know if it's still there?
I doubt it. When the Renans invaded, the world as I knew it changed overnight. Even if the place is still there physically, I expect the people will be long gone. Certainly everyone I knew, at least. My family, my friends.
Yeah, I know how that feels. I have no home to return to either. No family waiting for me. I used to curse my bad luck that I'd ever been born a mage in the first place. Otherwise, if I hadn't, maybe my mother and father would still be alive today. Although if that had been the case, I guess I'd probably still be just another slave with no means to resist. I'd never have met up with you guys, that's for sure.
Have you learned to embrace your powers yet?
Nuh-uh. I resent them a little less than before, though. They've kept me alive this long, right? I try not to think about it too much. After all, who can predict what the future will hold? I guess what I'm trying to say is that with everything that's happened in your past, finding out you're the Sovereign and all, it's no wonder you're conflicted. Heck, honestly, I think anyone would be.
Rinwell.
First it was Xion, then it was me, and now it's you. All of us suffering, just because of some power we never even asked for.
Yeah. All this time you were suffering right in front of me, and I never even knew. I feel like I finally understand what you and Xion were going through.
You couldn't have known. Still, if you want to make it up to her, shouldn't we hurry it up and rescue her already? Poor Xion must be lonely, all by herself wherever she is.
Yeah, you're right. Let's get going.
Ja, retten wir Xion. Los, lass dir von mir gesagt sein. Es ist wirklich schwer, wenn man ganz allein ist. Dann sprichst du aus Erfahrung, ne? So. Was schon noch mit dir?
You're certainly full of surprises, aren't you?
Trust me, it's not intentional.
Sorry, that was insensitive of me. Though, there's still an awful lot I wish I could understand. Every new piece of information seems only to yield further mysteries. The truth feels just as elusive as when we first started. I am well aware of where you got your powers. But why, as a Danon, do you bear the same crest as the current Renan Sovereign? More to the point, why choose a Danon for their Sovereign in the first place? And then there is the Maiden, a figure so powerful, she's playing yin to the Sovereign's yang in esoteric ceremonies. And yet, I've never even heard of her. Then again, this all occurred 300 years ago. What if the term Sovereign doesn't even hold the same meaning as it did back then? Listen, I may be a traitor among my people, but I am still Renan, born and raised. I learned the same history, listened rapt to the same tales. And yet now I feel like there was little truth to any of it.
Speaking of which, there's something else that I remember from the spirit channeling ceremony. It used the Renis Alma.
You're certain?
Yes. Or at least that's what they called it. Only you would know if it was one and the same.
Oh, I have never laid eyes on the real artifact myself. And you never participated in a crown contest. You're not even Renan. Many mysteries lay buried in these 3 centuries past.
3 centuries is more than several lifetimes. Was I really out that long?
Well, I'm only estimating based on historical record. But all the facts would seem to point that way.
Who the hell am I?
If I may be frank, we have even bigger fish to fry than that. By comparison, the far more important question at hand is, just what does it all mean?
Frank, huh?
Sometimes, we need a little help in addressing the truth behind our pain. Not to compete over lives lost, but I suspect your count is still somewhat beneath mine.
Thanks for lending me an ear. And sorry for being a bother.
Please, no thanks are necessary. The quicker you get back on your feet, the sooner we can all get back out there.
Wir sollten darüber nachdenken, was getan werden muss. Oh. Und aufs Maul, würde ich sagen, ne?
What do you see out there?
Zeugles. Strays by the looks of it. We unwittingly disturbed their territory on our way here, and now they're looking pretty riled up. So, feel like you're making headway? You know, sorting through things?
All I know is Xion needs our help. As for what happens after that...
Say, how did you get back down here from Lenegis, anyway?
I came down in a Renan starship. I have Naori to thank for that.
What happened to her? Did she come with you?
She stayed behind. Just as I wanted to get back to Dana and my people, Naori's place was with her fellow Renans, performing her duties as the Maiden. Neither of us asked for the power or roles we were given. I suppose we felt a kinship with each other in that sense. But even then...
Wait, so you mean it wasn't just Danans like you that Lenegis abducted? You're saying they forced Naori, one of their own, to serve against her will as well?
Even within Renan society itself, there exists a hierarchy. I don't think she was ever given the option to refuse. Despite that, she did everything she possibly could to serve her people. The very same ones I ended up slaughtering. And even after that, she still helped me escape back to Dana. She stayed behind on Lenegis to help any of her people who survived. I owe her more than words can express. A debt left to fester for what? 300 years? How do I even begin to make up for something like that?
In all honesty, you don't. You can't atone for what's happened in the past. I don't think anyone can. Be it several centuries ago, or just yesterday.
What are you saying? That I might as well give up?
I'm saying you don't have to be a white knight in shining armor. Back after my brother had passed away, it was you who told me that his dream lived on inside me. And you did the same for him, for Dohalim, when he was ready to give up too. You were there for both of us. You know what I heard? I heard you telling me to keep fighting, to strive no matter what.
Then I was out of line. I had no right to ask that of you.
No, you're wrong. Those words were exactly what I needed to hear at the time. In fact, I would go as far as to say that I wouldn't even be here had I not heard them. Left to my own devices, who knows when I would have been able to pick myself up. Besides, it's not like killing all those people was a choice that you made of your own free will, right? The truly terrible ones are the people who abducted you. The ones who forced you to wield that power. They're the ones you should be blaming. Not only that, but that guilt you feel inside, that's all the proof you need to know you're a good person, Alphen. Do you understand? If I'm still allowed to fight and keep on living, then damn it, Alphen, so the hell are you. But if you're still not convinced, then ask yourself this. What is it that you've really been fighting for this whole time? Go on, ask yourself.
What I've been fighting for, huh?
Wofür kämpfst du? Ich denke, jetzt wäre eine gute Gelegenheit für dich, mal über Dinge nachzudenken. Okay. Was sollen wir jetzt machen? Ja, wir haben noch, Dingsums, stimmt, wir haben noch hier den guten, Lore haben wir noch gar nicht gequatscht, stimmt. Ganz vergessen. Den gibt's ja auch. Aber ich würde sagen, das machen wir in der nächsten Folge. Sehen wir uns da wieder. Haut rein. Ciao, ciao.